Aloha and welcome to Live at the Legislature. I'm Jill Kuramoto. Every week we sit down with Hawaii senators to talk about the events and the issues that are happening within the Senate during this legislative session. And joining us today we have Senator Glenn Wakai. Senator Wakai represents District 15, which encompasses Kalihi to Pearl Harbor. And Senator Wakai is the chair of the Senate Committee on Economic Development, Tourism and Technology. Thank you for joining us this morning, Senator.
Thank you for having me. It's always wonderful to wake up early, brush my teeth, and comb my hair just for you and Olelo.
Well, we're glad that you at least do that. All right. I know that over the weekend you were on the Big Island talking to residents of the Ka'u area about a measure that got a lot of attention. It was intended, I believe, to bolster the economy here in Hawaii. How did that go, and why did you go there, actually?
I think Hawaii has a great opportunity to play a pivotal role in the global aerospace industry. And of all of the islands, the Big Island, because of its vast amount of land, its terrain, its proximity closest to the equator, could play a pivotal role in Hawaii's opportunities to grow this market. So there is a special purpose revenue bond for an organization called Spin Launch. And Spin Launch would like to set up an operation someplace in Hawaii. They were looking at Ka'u. And keep in mind that Spin Launch is not your grandfather's rocket, not like the typical vertical payload, 90% fuel and shoot it into orbit. They use centrifugal force and just slingshot this baby out into the stratosphere. So the impact isn't quite as we know it today for traditional launches. So I thought, wow, could be a neat idea, and let's perhaps do it all on the Big Island. Well, it became very evident as the legislative process went on that Ka'u said, no way, Jose. And so little Jose, me, went down there this past Saturday to try to just see if I could iron out some of the misunderstandings of the measure, and it was made very clear that doesn't matter what I was going to say, that the people of Ka'u didn't want any kind of launch facility in their neighborhood. They just wanted to continue to grow ag, particularly hemp and marijuana. They thought were their tickets to a better economy there. So I'm going to take our Spin Launch folks and the entire special purpose revenue bond and look for someplace else in Hawaii that might be more open to being the center of small satellite launches.
But Spin Launch still wants to stay in Hawaii.
Oh, yes.
And you would like it for it also to stay?
Well, it has a great opportunity for jobs. I mean, you look at the fact that we have the lowest unemployment in the nation. We don't need more jobs. We need quality jobs. And aerospace provides that opportunity to provide that for us. And it's not just the launching of the satellites into space, it's the actual manufacturing of the satellites themselves. Because when if it gets going, the satellites will be made on the mainland and then brought here. But as we launch more and more of them into space, and there's 10,000 in the queue, there's going to be pressure for these companies to perhaps reset their operations and their research and development here in Hawaii as they just move the satellite across the street and launch it into space. So there's so much growth opportunities. It's just unfortunate, in my opinion, that it's not going to be happening in Ka'u.
All right. Well, stay tuned on that one, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, I know another measure that has garnered quite a bit of attention, HB 2010, which passed the Senate and was intended to reallocate some of the money from Hawaii Tourism Authority to more responsible and proactive planning and protection of Hawaii's infrastructure and resources, natural resources. However, those that are opposed this measure say that it's going to take away jobs and it could impact marketing efforts for the HTA. What is the Senate's intent with HB 2010?
The sky is not falling. Tourism is not coming to the end of the road, is what the Hawaii Tourism Authority would like the public to believe about HB 2010. All we're doing is reconfiguring the budget. We're not taking away any monies from festivals, cultural programs, environmental sustainability programs. We're just saying, HTA, you focus on tourism marketing and stay focused in that area. we are going to put those other monies into the hands of those who should be the stewards of those areas. So for example, for trails and restrooms being open for our visitors, shouldn't that be the DLNR's kuleana? When we're talking about police patrols, lifeguards at our beaches, shouldn't that be with the counties to dispense the money as they see fit? So instead of having HTA get sizable chunks of money, we're going to say that a bit of that is going to go directly to the agencies that oversee those areas. So we're not taking one dime out of tourism marketing. We are, though, saying that some of these non-tourism related activities are perhaps better handled by other agencies. And the crux of it is really based on what came out in February. This audit shows that there are a lot of blemishes, a lot of problems going on at the Hawaii Tourism Authority. And so if we want to, it's like we have a diagnosis here, like your oncologist told you have cancer. You have one of two choices. You're going to pretend like that didn't happen and, okay, well, I'm going to just live my life as usual, or am I going to take some type of action to put my microphone clip back on and take some action to try to resolve and address some of the problems. And the Hawaii Tourism Authority just seems like, hey, everything is cool. Let's continue on. Give me my $82 million. Lawmakers don't look at reconfiguring that allotment. And some of us feel that there should be some changes there. And until you get your house in order, maybe some other agencies should be in charge of funding some of your non-tourism related programs.
I see. Okay. Well, so again, this measure and many others are heading into conference, which is where we are right now in this legislative process. Conference is when the House and Senate work together to try and come up with a bill that everybody agrees upon. Why is this such a critical part in the bill-making process?
Well, because we can only send one bill to the governor's desk. So the House has a position, the Senate has a position. We can't say, hey, Governor Ige, pick and choose which one you like better. We have to come to an agreement. And some of the disagreements are quite vast. But to me, this is the fun part. I mean, this is the fourth quarter. This is where the Patriots lost to the Eagles, right? This is where all the action is. The first 3 quarters is all window dressing. Now is an opportunity for us to really hammer out and work with our colleagues from across the chamber and come up with one solid piece of legislation for the governor to contemplate.
Well, how do you respond to those who say that this part of conference doesn't fairly allow for public input?
The public had a lot of input for the past 3.5 months, and nothing that's going to come up in conference hasn't already been discussed someplace in the House or in the Senate. At a certain point, government has to move forward. If we were just to have input ad nauseum, then we would never get anything done in this body. So everything has been discussed. People may or may not agree with what has been discussed, but the process has been open for the public's input.
All right. Well, thank you, Senator, for joining us this morning.
My
and I know
pleasure.
that we need to stay tuned because both of these measures that we talked about are going to be heading into conference. So we'll see what happens, right?
Cross our fingers.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And you can stay up to date on anything in the Senate on our HawaiiSenateMajority.com website. You can also check the Capitol's website at capitol.hawaii.gov. Thanks for watching Live at the Legislature. We'll see you next week.